Hi, I'm Firefighter Ray, and today on Firehouse Kitchen, we're going to be cooking in Somerset, New Jersey with firefighter Chuck Maria. He's going to be making us a delicious rigatoni. But what I want to address is what I'm standing in front of. This is the 9/11 Memorial here in Somerset. This episode is dedicated today to one of their residents, John Collins, who lost their life on 9/11. It's a soft spot to every fireman in 9/11. I was in 9/11, and this episode is for John Collins. All right, let's enjoy this episode of Firehouse Kitchen. All right, Charles Maria, that is your name?
That's correct.
All right, we're here in Somerset, New Jersey, right. And we're going to be cooking. What are we making today?
We're making rigatoni on the rig. It's rigatoni with bacon and onions and a light cream sauce with spring peas.
Ooh, maybe we'll eat it on the rig.
We can do that.
After we make it.
Absolutely,
I like that.
we can do that.
And is this going to be a special operation?
It certainly is.
I got this T-shirt. It's a very cool T-shirt. I'm going to wear it all the time now. Now this is we're making rigatoni on the rig. Maybe we'll taste it on the rig after we make it.
We can do that too.
That sounds like a plan. Now this is a fire and rescue company.
Correct.
Tell the viewers. I know what that means. Let's tell the viewers out there. You know, what's the difference between a regular firehouse?
Okay. Not only do we have the pumpers or an engine company, we also house a heavy rescue here. We also have the dive team, scuba divers for. Well, what it's been over the last couple of years has been most of central New Jersey. We go way well out of town. We've been to Pennsylvania. We went to Pennsylvania just a couple of months ago because dive teams are a very, very specific and task-oriented, specialized operation, and not everybody.
Especially with Hurricane Sandy. I mean,
but it's all Swiftwater rescues. We were very, very busy during Sandy.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Now, Hearst tool operations?
Yeah, a vehicle extrication, we use a different tool other than the Hearst, but the Jaws of Life for...
Yeah, Jaws of Life, yeah.
Confined Space Rescue, one of the only confined space rescue teams in the area, rope rescue, and other technical rescue operations that we run out of this house.
Oh, very nice, very nice. How long have you been a fireman?
I've been here 26 years.
So you've been in fire rescue?
I've been in fire rescue for 26 years. I also work for the fire marshal's office in town for the past 19.
So that's your profession. You're a fire marshal. So you're like super fireman. You investigate the fires. You also put out the fires, and then
and fire investigations too.
Oh wow, fire investigations. All right, this is gonna be cool. We're gonna talk. It's gonna be like CSI cooking with fire and Firehouse Kitchen. All right, we'll talk about some cool stuff. All right, let's talk about rigatoni on the rig. Okay. I love rigatoni. All right, go for it. What do we do first?
Okay, well, we're going to start off with our bacon. We got a pound of bacon. Now, I know with the topic of the day is firefighter health, so right now everybody's going, oh my God, bacon and onions, but we're going to go with about 2 slices per guy. So
I like firefighter health, of course.
Of course, everybody does.
But you know what? You got to live. You got to have taste. You got to have butter. You got to have bacon. You got to have it all. You know, in moderation. Anything in moderation is good.
That's
Anything
right.
in moderation is good. So let's cook with some bacon.
So I'm going to get started with trimming my bacon. We're going to leave it relatively large pieces, lardons, because we want it kind of rustic, and we don't want to have it too small.
I absolutely love that. Awesome.
We don't leave it too small because we don't want them to burn. We want them to still have some chew to them, so when you eat it, it's not like eating bacon bits.
Okay.
Okay. So we want to go. Okay, so I want to keep the bacon in relatively large chunks, or lardons, as it's called.
I like my bacon a little, I like it crispy, but I also like it a little bit, I like it a little chewy. Just a little bit.
Well, that was
taste that fat.
Right, that's the idea too. We don't want to have, we don't want it to be bacon bits. We want it to have a little bit, since it's the only protein in the dish, we want to make sure that you actually can taste it.
Yes, lots of that bacon protein. That's what I want to eat.
Yeah, they are often not used in the same sentence. Okay, so after we get all of our bacon sliced, we're going to get that going in the pan, get that browned off, and then we're going to remove it and start on the onions.
Okay. So we're going to fire it up.
Go ahead and get my pan going. We'll move the bacon over.
All right. Very nice. Yes, bacon, bacon, bacon.
Okay, so we're going to let that brown up a little bit. And like I said, we don't want to make bacon bits out of it, so we're going to pull it off just as it starts to crisp, but it still has a little bit of chew to it. Okay, because that's
I'm just waiting for the smell.
Yes.
There's nothing like bacon.
Nothing like that.
Yep. Smell of bacon.
Yep. It can wake you out of a solid sleep, that's for sure. So like I said before, we're not really concerned about it sticking together because I'm going to give it a couple of tosses, and that should break apart.
I'm just loving the smell of this room right now. Nothing has the smell of bacon.
Agreed.
Okay.
Bacon has that magical power over us.
I remember that Office episode where Michael's talking about how he burned his foot because he likes to smell of bacon in the morning because he put the waffle on, or the grill next to his bed so he can smell bacon in the morning.
Okay, so we're gonna let that go for a while. That's got a little while to cook off. So I'll start on the onions. Much like the bacon, I want to try to leave the onions in relatively large pieces so it's a little more rustic, a little more, when you eat it, you actually feel like you're eating something, give some texture to it.
Okay. Now, fire marshals. When did you get? What made you get into that? Were you a volunteer first?
Yeah. Yes, I was.
Okay. And then we got into the fire marshals. Is there an academy you had to go to?
Yeah, there's a training. It's an 80-hour class run by the state to learn how to adapt the fire code to everyday hazards and the basics of inspections and how to interpret the code and things like that. So I said it's about an 80-hour class.
Any cool fire marshal stories? You know, like a backdraft story and.
And we had a car show at our convention center, and a relatively popular rapper had wanted to be brought into the building in his Escalade, and we couldn't actually have a running vehicle inside the building with 3,000 people in it. And he came and put his arm around me. He's like, listen, my man, what can we do about this? And I'm like, you're talking to the wrong guy. Yeah. You just talk to my boss. I'm low on the chain here. I can't make that decision. But he wasn't very happy. We didn't let that happen. One of the interesting ones we've
landed. Get free tickets at least to the
well, we always get free tickets.
Oh, do you?
Well, we were there for inspection.
Fireman perk.
We were there for inspection. So another one was we've landed President Reagan, landed here in Somerset. We've landed President Reagan, President Bush, and President Clinton. The most interesting one was we were on the line where they landed Marine One, and President Clinton's leaving the event. He's walking across the field to the chopper, and he turns and comes right towards the line of our guys. And the Secret Service is like, whoa, what's going on here? He wasn't supposed to do that. And he came up and he shook all of our hands, which I thought was pretty cool. The next morning on my desk at work is a manila envelope. And I open it up, it's a picture of me and President Clinton shaking hands. And like, where did that come from? Well, it turns out the Secret Service has some pretty cool tools, and they were on the roof of an adjoining building. One of the ladies who worked in our building, her son happened to be on the detail. And there it was.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now do you hang that in your house and you'd be like, oh yeah, this is me and Bill.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, we just had dinner.
Yeah, I have it at home, and it's upstairs in our members' room. That was a memorable experience. So that makes the days go by.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah. Okay, so cutting onions.
Yep, cutting onions. So like I said, I want to leave the onions relatively large, so so we're not eating. Doesn't seem like we're eating
minced onions.
Yeah, minced onions.
You want to taste those onions.
Exactly.
You want to taste those onions. Okay. How's our bacon looking?
Bacon is coming along.
Do that little flip thing that you just did before. Watch this, I love this. When I do this, everything lands on the floor. Yeah, it's browning up nicely.
Yeah. Yeah, and the pieces are a little larger, so like I said, that gives you something to chew on.
All right. Now, bacon is the only food out there that you want to taste before it's done. You know, you're cooking the bacon, your mouth's salivating, and this happens to me at least 3 or 4 times a year. If I'm cooking bacon like this, I'll grab a piece, I throw it in my mouth, and I forget how hot it has to be
a good idea.
to cook. Yeah, I mean, that oil is crazy. And probably all the burns I have on my arms is probably from cooking bacon. It's not from going into fires. No, some of them are from going into fires. But, all right.
All right, so we're ready. I'm going to strain the bacon off with a slotted spoon.
Very nice.
Turn my fire off.
Very good. So Chuck, we heard all about you being a firefighter. How did you go on to being a cook, or being a fire marshal? How did you go on to being a cook?
I owe that to both of my grandmothers, my mother and my father's mother. My father's mother, Nanny Maria, made the best lasagna ever.
Okay.
Ever, and it was always the same. I swore growing up that she had 1,000 lasagnas in the basement because it never changed.
It was perfect every time.
Every single time, and I thought she had to make one batch.
Something about Grandma that
I know.
It's very consistent,
and,
you know.
And my mother's mother, the best eggplant parmesan you ever had in your life. So they really drove me to start cooking. And then actually, when I worked for the government for a short time as a firefighter, and I was the new guy on the crew, so I got thrown into the kitchen.
Yeah.
And then it was really just a lot of watching TV. I remember way back as a kid, 8 or 9 years old, no cartoons for me. It was the Frugal Gourmet and reruns of Julia.
All right, so you were young. You were watching cooking shows when you were young?
I did. It was before food TV, before all that. I was watching Channel 13.
Yeah.
I don't know why. But, and then that was it.
That's it.
Yeah. And I realize how much joy you bring when you bring a meal to the table and everybody's face lights up, and that's kind of the reward.
Did you go to culinary school?
Nope.
Did you? Okay.
Self-taught.
Everything is self-taught.
Yeah.
All right, because I love the jacket.
The chief heard that we were going to do this, and he.
Now, have you ever botched a meal that for the guys?
I did. I have a funny story. My wife. The first time I tried to make citrus chicken, I was making the chicken. I saw it on TV the night before, and I usually like to do it if I see something interesting on TV the night before. I'll try to make it the next night. And I didn't have my technique of zesting down properly, and I got a little too deep in the zest, and it turned very bitter. And I was proud. I had nice curls on there. I was very decorative. I brought it to my wife, and I could see as soon as she bit into it, I was like, something's horribly wrong here. And she reminded me.
Too much zesting.
Yeah, a little deep on the zest, so it was a little bitter. So,
so she tasted the orange peel.
Absolutely. It was,
oh, wow, okay.
I didn't realize that there was so much.
Yeah, I've never done a citrus chicken.
Yeah.
We've never had that in the Firehouse. It's not one of those meals.
No.
I have to bring that up to the guys and say, hey, we got to do some.
Just be careful then. Don't go too deep on the zest.
Yeah, don't go too deep on the zest.
Everything.
I love it.
Okay.
All right.
So we're back. I took the bacon off.
Okay.
Okay. I want to drain off most of the bacon fat. I'm going to leave a little bit in here, and we'll get our onions started.
You need a little bit of bacon fat. Maybe just a little bit more. All right. A little bit more. A little more. That's good.
Okay. We're going to keep that just in case we need it.
All right. I think we're going to need it.
All right, so we'll get our onions going.
All right. Most of the time, my hands don't even get dirty. This is great.
And again, the onions are in relatively big pieces, so I'm not concerned. They'll saute down.
Yeah.
That's not a problem. So we'll get that. We'll get those going. Once they get soft and translucent, then we'll
put a little peppers and sausage in there.
We're home, right? Okay, so there's
rigatoni.
No additional salt in this dish, so if that makes everybody feel better. We didn't put any. We're not going to add any salt to bacon.
Well, the bacon gives
bacon has enough salt,
yeah.
and when we finish this with some Parmigiano Reggiano, that has plenty of salt in it.
Okay.
Also. So we won't need to do that. Just a little bit of fresh cracked pepper for our onions.
All right, so we got nice fresh ground pepper. I like your pepper shaker. I usually just shake, but that's okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, we're going to go with just garlic is not a major component of this, just a little bit of background. So we just want to.
You smash the garlic.
Smash the garlic down so we don't have chunks. Just kind of emulsifies when you're done if you smash it down.
You know what?
Thin.
We did a show with I don't know if you know the celebrity chef Joe Simonera. He's got his own show on TV, and we cook steaks.
Okay.
And that's the first time I ever saw that done, where you just smash it and you throw the whole thing in.
Yep.
I always minced it up, and I tell you, there were some steaks, but this is awesome. And this keeps the flavor of the garlic too. Right. Because you're not letting everything out. It almost gives it like a little.
Yeah, and all the oils and everything are still in there. We smashed them real good, and that will eventually just break down, and nobody will actually have any piece of garlic in their mouth.
Very nice. All right.
Okay, so our onions are coming along.
Okay. Now, do you taste or do you just feel them? You feel?
No, I just feel. Yeah, I can tell by their color and what they feel like. I want them soft, but not mush.
Yeah. You don't want them too brown either. If you get them too brown, then you don't want crunchy onions. We're not making onion rings.
And the bacon grease gives it a little bit of a color too.
Awesome.
We'll let that go. We'll get that go just a little bit longer.
Okay, let that go.
Right. So then next, after this is done, we'll pull the onions out and leave the remainder of the bacon fat in there.
We have extra fat if we need it.
Right, we have extra fat if we need it. A little bit of olive oil, and we're going to build a bit of a roux for our cream sauce.
Okay.
Okay, so we can thicken up our cream sauce. At this point, we're probably going to go and put our pasta in and get that going, because that's going to take about 11 minutes or so to come up al dente, because we're going to finish it in the frying pan.
Hi, I'm Firefighter Ray, and today's safety tip is safety in a flood. The Somerset Fire Department is surrounded by water, and you know in New Jersey they have a flooding problem, especially with Hurricane Sandy. All you motorists out there, if you don't think you can drive through it, then don't drive through it. If you think you might be able to drive through it, then don't drive through it. Most of their rescues are from motorists who think they can get through the water and they get stuck, and then they get engulfed by water, and we have to take out our fire rescue boats and save you. So, my fire safety tip today is don't drive through water that you think or you may not think you can get through. I'm Firefighter Ray, and these tips save lives. Let me get the pasta. I got the pasta.
All right.
All right, I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna do something here. I'm gonna put the pasta in the water. Watch this. All right. How'd I do?
Perfect.
Outstanding. All right.
Okay.
Good. It's about all my mother would let me do in the kitchen, too, when I was growing up. Actually, I used to make good pancakes. Very good pancakes I used to make.
We'll give that a little stir to make sure they don't stick, and they're going to take a couple of minutes to come up.
And toast. Good toast. All right, so that's going to take a few minutes to come up.
Okay, I think our onions are ready.
All right. That's it. We're going to use the spoon with holes so we keep some grease. What is that called? A holy spoon?
Yeah, holy spoon, slotted spoon.
It's not really slotted. That's what Robin would say. Holy spoon. That was really corny, but that's what Robin would say. All right, so we got grease in the pan.
Okay.
We got onions on the side. We got pasta boiling. We got lots of things going on here.
Okay.
All right.
So now we're going to build our
For
roux.
this special operation. All right.
We're going to build our roux for our cream sauce
Okay.
while the pasta's cooking. Give that pasta a quick stir.
All right.
Make sure we're not sticking. Okay.
All right. So what are we making? The roux,
We're
you
gonna
called it?
We're going to make the roux, which is going to be a thickening agent for the cream sauce.
Okay. A roux to me would always, somebody making fun of somebody.
Right.
Your
It's
roux.
going to be equal parts of fat and flour.
Okay. Fat and flour.
And a little bit of olive oil.
A little flour. Now we making like a little paste here? Or?
Yeah, we're making a little paste.
Okay.
And you can always, depending on how thick you like it, you can vary the amount of roux, or you can also add some pasta water. The nice starchy pasta water
Okay.
will thicken things up too.
Can you burn this flour? Or,
Yeah, absolutely.
So you got to be careful.
Yeah, yeah. You can vary the color depending on what you're doing. If you're doing a dark sauce, you want to bring it down to a nice dark color, but you can burn it. You just want to cook it enough to get that raw flour flavor out.
Whenever we cook something on the show, I always ask if you can burn it, because if you can't burn it, then I'm going to cook it for a long time. Because in the beginning, especially, I used to have problems making eggs when I first started working at the Firehouse. Everything, I overcook everything. But you pretty much basically, if you just keep moving stuff around, you're going to keep it from getting burned. You're going to get it nice and cooked. That's it. Just keep it moving. Very nice.
Okay, you just want to cook the raw flavor of the flour out.
Okay. All right, we are creating our roux. The roux is coming.
I'm just going to quick give another stir here, see how our pasta's doing. I can tell how it hits the spoon, whether we're still a little al dente.
Yeah.
But we want to.
How do you like it? I like it a little al dente.
We got to be a little bit more than al dente because it's going to finish.
Okay, it's going to finish.
We got to spend a minute
okay.
or two in the pan when
Okay.
we're done. Okay. So now we got our roux built. So we want to do equal amounts of cream and milk.
Is this the kanga part? Kanga? Because we're in the roux?
Oh,
Kanga.
look at that.
All right, a little
Okay.
cream.
Equal amounts of milk and cream, and you could make this as thin or as thick as you like. Depends on.
I think most people probably like a little thick, right?
Yeah, a little thick.
Yeah.
We don't want it like glue though, so we kind of like I said, we could always thin that out once we get the pasta water going. So then we're going to stir this to make sure that our roux isn't lumpy. We're going to keep this going. We don't want to scald anything.
All right.
So again, we got to keep this going until it gets to just about where we want it. Our pasta should be coming up right about now.
Okay.
So we're in pretty good shape.
Want to give it a little spoon on the pasta? We'll take a look. You want me to stir that, or you want me to?
No, we can check the
No,
pasta.
you can check the pasta. Okay. Let's see what you got. Let's see what we got. Let's see if it's al dente.
Oh yeah, we're in good shape.
We're in good shape.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, he's good.
Okay.
That's another way I burn my mouth. Tasting pasta. Always. This looks amazing. I love these things. How come most people don't have these at home? We use these strainers. It's strainer all in one.
Okay, we get our last little bit of our pasta out.
There you go.
Okay.
Cover
Put this
that up.
back over the heat so we can see it's starting to thicken up already.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
You got to keep it moving, right?
Yeah, we got to keep it moving. I'm going to turn this down a little bit. I'm going to go ahead with our onions.
Oh, now we're adding all the treats.
And our bacon.
All my favorite treats. Here we go. Let me make sure that bacon's cooked.
Okay, we got
Very nice.
our onions.
Oh, hold on. Let me
You
steal
might
one
wanna
more.
check that.
All right. Oh my God.
Okay, so our bacon is in. Thank you. Okay, we'll go ahead and give this a little toss. Try to get this incorporated nicely.
That's what I love.
Okay, we'll turn our heat off now, and of course every cream sauce has to have fresh nutmeg. Wouldn't be a cream sauce without nutmeg, so we're just going to give it a quick.
Really? A little bit of nutmeg.
A little bit of nutmeg. That was
Unbelievable.
something I learned from one of those celebrity chefs. Told me that every cream sauce has to have nutmeg.
Has to have nutmeg.
that
I
is
love it.
Now, who am I to argue? So this is thickened up a little bit more than I want. Like I said, we could always rescue this with our special operations here. We could put a little pasta water in. We could add a little more cream. We could add a little more milk.
A little more bacon fat?
No, that's not going to work.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit more pasta water. The pasta water has all the starch from the pasta, so that should come together quite nicely and keep it nice and loose. We don't want glue, but we don't want it very runny.
Yeah, you want one piece at a time.
Right. So I'm going to go ahead and let this come up. Our next ingredient is going to be our oregano.
Okay. All right.
We're ready. So I'm just going to strip my fresh oregano.
All right.
And give that a quick chop. Just a little bit. Goes a long way. Just a couple of leaves. Bring that
Love
together.
that oregano. Mm-hmm. I love the smell of oregano.
Yeah, the fresh oregano's fantastic.
That's the best. All right, we got some cheese. Beautiful.
We'll get that in right before we go. See, this is thickened up nice
thickened
now.
nice. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Okay, that's what we're talking about right there.
Nice.
Okay, so that's done. We got our flame off.
All right.
We can go ahead and go with our cheese, our Pecorino Romano.
We're not throwing it all in?
No, oh God, no.
All right.
Okay, so we're ready to go. Everything is go. Just give this another quick toss. I'll hit it with the peas. Let the peas sit for 30 seconds or so just to warm up, and then we can go right to plate with it.
That sounds wonderful.
Okay, and then we're just going to follow this up with a little bit of garlic bread before we hit the table.
All right.
Okay. Ray, you want to bring over the pan for me?
I would love to bring over the pan. Put this right on my plate. Very good. You can move out of the way. We'll put it right over here. There we go.
Okay. We'll add our peas.
Can I have the honor of making the last stir?
Well, let me just back up 1 second, move the pan for just a second. I want to get our fresh oregano in there. Once that hits
that's our fresh oregano.
That hits that hot pasta, that's going to bloom right up.
That's me, fireman, just throwing everything around the kitchen. All right, so I'm going to mix this up. And why don't we do this? We'll mix this up, we'll clean up, we'll plate it, and we'll go and taste our rigatoni on the rig. Let's taste it on the rig. Well, I'm sitting here on the rig, about to eat rigatoni on the rig. Let's try it, guys. Let's see how it tastes. All right. Wow. Oh, baby. I like the bacon. Chuck.
Don't forget about the nutmeg.
And don't forget about that nutmeg. Hey, is Chuck's Meals always as good?
No comment.
No comment.
That's my guys.
That's your guys. Threw you right under the bus.
Indeed.
Unbelievable. Well, to find out more about Firehouse Kitchen and find Chuck's recipe, go to firehousekitchenshow.com or friend us on Facebook at Firehouse Kitchen. Chuck, thanks a lot for having us.
Thanks for coming down.
Fire marshal's here. We got the firemen. And I'll see you guys next time on
Firehouse Kitchen.
All right. Let's eat up. This is unbelievable.